Okay, hello ladies and gentlemen, I am back. It's been a week, and a long week at that. Champions of Champions Boxing Talk here. Some people have been saying, where have you been? Do a video on this, do a video on that. I'm a big boxing fan, let me just say that. But boxing comes second to what I really do, which is make, films. I act. And I like to write, so that's my priority, really, in that sense. Boxing is my little chick on the side, shall we say. Yes, I would have far rather have been a world-class footballer at Manchester United than an actor, a writer, or a filmmaker. I would have rather have been Muhammad Ali than George Clooney. I mean, let's face it, as good as acting is, and it is good, I do love it, but it's fake. I'm a fake, I'm a fairy, let's be honest. Those guys are the real human beings. But my priority right now is show business, so I can't always produce the same amount of videos that other boxing people and analysis experts can produce, because that seems to be their main focus. My focus is sort of all over the place. I even sing, I'm an MJ impersonator, so boxing second, I'm afraid, to performance. But we are where we are. We're here today. And it's looking like Manny Pacquiao will face Jeff Horn in Australia. Now, that's the news you are all waiting for. I can hear millions of you guys all over the world singing, "This is it, this is it, this is it." Well, not really. But that's the fight I think you're getting. The Amir Khan fight fell apart. We are where we are today. Manny Pacquiao is going to be sunning it in sunny Australia. Well, the Philippines is pretty warm too, isn't it? But I just had to say that. July 2nd, apparently, Michael Kantz has said that they're very close to agreeing the deal to fight Jeff Horn. Once they're happy with a deal that's right for Manny, the contract will be signed, sealed, and delivered. Bob Arum gave them a deadline, and just shows Bob's the boss, isn't he? There's been movement since he made that statement. So, on one hand, you could say, why is Manny Pacquiao letting Bob Arum dictate everything to do with his boxing career? But Bob Arum, is a legendary promoter. He's a Hall of Famer in his own right. So you got to go with the experts sometimes. But of course, there are some people that are saying Manny Pacquiao is not his own boss. Okay, Bob Arum is maybe Manny Pacquiao's boss. But then the next minute, they'll say that Manny Pacquiao is avoiding this fighter or that fighter. Well, you can't have it both ways. If he's got a boss, he's got to do what his boss says. So, if you want to see Manny Pacquiao fight Keith Thurman, and that fight doesn't happen, blame Bob Arum, because you say that Manny Pacquiao has a boss to answer to. So, it could be the same for Keith Thurman, Al Heyman. Don't blame Keith Thurman. Keith Thurman's fought Sean Porter and Danny Garcia recently. Pretty good fighters there. Keith is stepping up. No question about it. Right? And Manny, last 3 fights, Floyd Mayweather, pound for pound number 1. Timothy Bradley, like him or lump him, whether you've seen that fight once, you've seen it a million times, he was ranked number 10 pound for pound when Manny Pacquiao fought him. Jesse Vargas, top 8 welterweight. So, you can't say that Manny Pacquiao is not fighting good fighters. Because he is. He's not fighting the names that the casuals like to associate themselves with. But good fighters. Floyd Mayweather. Some people have the guy in the top 10 of all time. Manny Pacquiao just fought him a few years ago. Timothy Bradley. Some people have Timothy Bradley in the top 5 fighters of this era. Jesse Vargas. He's a much better fighter than anybody thought he was. He dusted Saddam Ali, didn't he? Let's face it. And everybody had Saddam Ali the favourite. Everybody thought Manny Pacquiao would knock him out. Went the distance, didn't it? And Jesse was rugged. He was beaten by the better man on the night. But, nonetheless, Jesse did better than I thought he would. Put it that way. So, this Jeff Horn fight is getting more flack than it deserves. And I'll tell you for why. Jeff Horn, the highlights I've seen of him, you may think I'm mad saying this. He has more power than Manny Pacquiao's last 3 opponents. He's more likely to finish you off if he hurts you than Manny Pacquiao's last 3 opponents. Floyd Mayweather. You're going for a waltz with him, aren't you, for 12 rounds? You may lose, but it's a dance. Timothy Bradley, not known as Mike Tyson, is he? Jesse Vargas, he's been punching a little bit harder lately, but still I give Jeff Horn the edge there. Added to the fact that Jeff Horn is, for what it's worth, undefeated. Now, this era is so possessive with that 0, but yet when it comes to Jeff Horn, it doesn't matter. This person is undefeated, so they're a genius. Floyd Mayweather, Keith Thurman, Danny Garcia before he was defeated. What marvellous fighters they are. And then you say, yeah, Jeff Horn's unbeaten. Jeff Horn's nothing. Jeff Horn's not this, he's not that, he's not the other. I say it again, you can't have both ways. Now, I know Jeff Horn has not been fighting Sugar Ray Leonard, Roberto Duran, and Floyd Mayweather recently. But, come on. Has Errol Spence, who's fighting Kell Brooks soon, been knocking down mountains? No, he hasn't, but we all rave about that guy, don't we? And there are reasons to rave about him, but still, we have to put it into perspective. Do I think this fight is going to be better between Jeff Horn and Manny Pacquiao than people think? Yes, I do. Because Jeff Horn carries at least the threat in the power department. And he comes to fight. And we all know when people come to fight, truly fight against Manny Pacquiao, there are true fireworks because Manny is great, isn't he, against attacking fighters. Now people say, well, Jesse Vargas is a good attacking fighter, but he went in defense mode and tried to counterpunch his way against Manny Pacquiao. So Jeff Horn may do the same. Jesse Vargas had the reach to do that. Floyd Mayweather had the reach to do that. Jeff Horn is more inexperienced as well. He might be like a bull in a china shop in this fight, and he does have shorter arms, and he's in Australia, his home nation. He's going to try and put a show on, I believe. He may get clobbered doing it, but that's what we want to see. Because, as I said before, I'm into filmmaking and acting. How many of you like to see a beautiful film that's shot of mountains and the scenery is gorgeous, but the plot is boring? Not many. Well, the last generation we got that a lot, didn't we, with the Mayweather fights. As much as I respect him as an artist in the ring, he was a well-shot movie with a crap plot. It was boring. I don't think you're going to have that with this next Manny Pacquiao fight. I don't think you've got that through Manny Pacquiao's career. he kind of is exhilarating, isn't he? People want to watch Manny Pacquiao fight, and not many people recently from a foreign nation, excluding the United States, have had the chance to see Manny Pacquiao. We'd have loved it in Britain had Manny Pacquiao been fighting one of our guys here. He would not be off Sky Sports News. It would be like Michael Jackson had become a boxer 24/7, like Triple G. I mean, if Triple G was never off the news, can you imagine Manny Pacquiao in the UK? That's the excitement. And to deny these Australian fans that chance to see a once-in-a-lifetime fighter of a generation, the chance to see him live for what will be the only time, I think you're a little bit of a killjoy. And I'll say the same for Manny, I'll say the same for Floyd Mayweather. These guys are not 25. Manny Pacquiao has paid his dues in the sport. Floyd Mayweather has paid his dues now. If he wants to do that carnival show with that circus act, Conor McGregor, just let him, It's just a payday, that's all it is, we know that. Of course, I think Jeff Horn is a bigger threat to Manny Pacquiao than Conor McGregor is to Floyd Mayweather, because at least Jeff Horn is a boxer when all's said and done. And there are business reasons behind this fight. Watch all of you guys become Jeff Horn the Hornet fans if he pulls off that victory in Australia. It reminds me of, I don't think the result is going to be the same, but it reminds me of Costa Zoo when he fought Ricky Hatton. Ricky Hatton was such an underdog, and many people were laughing at Costa Zoo for taking that fight. Well, the rest is history. Ricky Hatton was a much better beast, a much better fighter than they'd bargained for. And Costa Zoo even said at the end of the night, he believed the better man won. All ends up. Right? Who's to say boxing is a strange sport? Tony Bellew beats David Haye. Alright, people say, well, David Haye had an injury in the ring. Well, it's not Tony Bellew's fault. He beat him within the rules. Right? Nobody thought Danny Jacobs was making it to the 12th round v Triple G. But he did. Ran him real close in that race as well, didn't he? Chocolito. Let's put it this way. Is Manny Pacquiao a bigger favourite against Jeff Horn than Chocolito was in his last fight? I'm not sure he is. I think Chocolito actually might have been a bigger favourite to win that fight. I mean, you were talking about the pound-for-pound guy against his mandatory. Now, Manny Pacquiao is not currently ranked as high as Chocolito is. And the oddmakers probably then will make Jeff Horn have more of a shot of beating Manny Pacquiao. I don't think it will happen, because I think rankings sometimes don't always tell the true story. I think that Manny Pacquiao is still a better fighter than Chocolito. He has more to his arsenal, more to his game. But it's a win-win for Top Rank as well, isn't it? Manny wins, the cash cow carries on. And then where do we go from here? Does he take on Terence Crawford? Does he finally fight one of Al Heyman's stable of fighters? And if Jeff Horn wins, a star is born overnight. And the legend goes off into the sunset, into the Hall of Fame. You're all acting Like, Manny Pacquiao's next opponent is vital to his standing in boxing. It isn't. When you've won world titles in a record 8 divisions, you can say my next fight, I'm going to stand in the middle of the ring, then bring a boat down. Freddie Roach is going to carry it. I'm going to put it in the middle of the ring, and I'm going to pretend I'm fishing for the next 36 minutes. It won't change what he has achieved if he decides to do that. Because let's face it, who else has done it? Who? They've been unbeaten fighters. There have. But this guy is, he's conquered Godzilla, hasn't he? Literally, the next guy, as I've said before, that will beat that record will have to win world titles in 9 weight classes. That is insane. So, stop acting like, well, if he don't fight Keith Thurman next, if he don't fight Terence Crawford next, where does he go? To the Hall of Fame. That's all I'm saying. And a lot faster than Danny Garcia and Keith Thurman or Terence Crawford will go to the Hall of Fame when they finish. Because they ain't winning belts in 8 weight divisions. I'll just leave it at that. Manny Pacquiao has been punching above his weight for years. Welterweight is actually his second to last limit where weight class is concerned. He said after he fought Margarito that was just too big for him. Well, welterweight is only a division down. Now, it does make a big difference. It means he can enjoy, a McDonald's more than some of the other guys that have to, boil themselves down in weight. But still, can you imagine if this guy was hitting 140-pound fighters? Ricky Hatton will tell you how that felt. Can you imagine if this guy was hitting Linares or even Mikey Garcia would feel it? He'd be, well, he was, wasn't he? He was a razor blade in the lower weight classes, and he still hurts welterweights. He drops them. Look at Bradley down, Vargas down, Marquez down, and I believe Jeff Horn will go down multiple times. Do I think Jeff Horn can see the bell? I think he might be a bit brave for his own good and get finished late. Do I think he wins more rounds, though, than Jesse Vargas? I do, out of his aggression early on, yes. I think he actually surprises Manny Pacquiao, who has seen people been, more conservative against him of recent times. I think Jeff Horn, may offer a few tools that we've not seen recently. So, really, to conclude this video, it's an opportunity for the Australians to see a legend. Don't deny them that. Who are we to deny them that? You may not like all the Batman and Superman movies. I'm going back to my movie analogy again, but don't deny your children a chance to see them. And Manny Pacquiao is, well, he's like a real-life superhero, isn't he? Of course, he's more into politics now. But I was looking forward to Manny coming over and fighting either Kell Brook or Ricky Burns, The anticipation, as I said, would dominate the airwaves. So, Manny Pacquiao has nothing to prove. Enjoy him while he's still here. And in Jeff Horn, like Danny Jacobs, he may or may not put up a good fight. But you may have a new potential welterweight to enjoy too. We may be talking about more than just Crawford, Bradley, Vargas in the top rank stable. And I do think something is in the waters for November. I believe Top Rank really realised that an April fight for Manny would conflict with Joshua against Klitschko. And there was thoughts that Brook and Spence could have happened in April. It will happen in May now. But of course, Top Rank wasn't aware of that. They did not want to be upstaged in any way, shape, or form. Manny Pacquiao does events that are unique, and he has to have the limelight. People say he comes across as a nice guy, but make no mistake, he's a winner. And your eyes, he wants them on him when he's in that ring. He believes he's the best of the best. So you should have your focus on him. So, July it is. And then in November, as I said, something's in the works. I think it could be Broner. But I'm going to throw a punt out there. Juan Manuel Marquez lost money recently. 2.3 million. That fight always delivers. In terms of money, in terms of contest. Do I think it'll be competitive again? Maybe, but I think Marquez may lose this time clearly because it's just ring rust, isn't it? An old fighter who has not fought for a long time and been inactive is truly an old fighter. An old fighter that is active and still doing well could still seem like a young gun. But don't be surprised if in November that is offered to Manny Pacquiao. And he will take it above any other fight because let me tell you something. He went the distance with Floyd. He was never hurt against Floyd. And this is how Manny Pacquiao thinks like a Mexican. Right? If you don't put it on him and he hurts you, he thinks, how did you beat me exactly? That's what he thinks. So in his mind, when he says, I beat Floyd Mayweather, Manny's punches that night hurt Floyd more than Floyd's hurt Manny. So he thinks, what's the score here? But Manny knows Juan Manuel Marquez hurt Manny equally as much as Manny hurts him. So psychologically, that hurts Manny. That knockout, I just see it in him. The hunger is there. If he could get Marquez in the ring tomorrow, he would. He'd get Floyd in the ring tomorrow, but it's not as personal with Floyd as you think. It's a great historical payday with Floyd, but Floyd is not really his rival. Marquez is. If Manny Pacquiao had the chance to erase that knockout in November, I think he would rather take that fight than Khan, Furman, Crawford, and so would Bob Arum. The build-up to the fifth fight, you may not want to hear it, but to casual boxing fans, it would be huge. Two fighters of this generation for a fifth time. Every fight was a classic. And the fifth would be good because someone's going over, because age is catching up with these two guys. So that's my point of view on where Manny's going from here. Don't be too harsh on Jeff Horn. Don't be too harsh on Manny Pacquiao. Because at the end of the day, Bob Arum is Manny's boss. As you're all saying, don't call Manny the cherry picker, because according to you, Manny's not in control. And Jeff Horn, he's just doing what every good contender does. Trying to seize the moment when he gets it. And the Australian fans will be hoping, they'll be praying that their man can become the new star. But I believe the Filipino Typhoon has a little bit more left in the tank. Thank you for listening, and I'll see you all soon.